Guys, don't you just love this month's card club? I am excited about these cards. I got the Jar of Love set a while ago and I haven't really had much time to play with it. So I thought that these would make great cards for this month. So if you're not familiar with my card club, what it is you need to go to my shop, spend $32 pre-tax, pre-shipping. You need to live in the US. And you need to leave your contact information so I can mail your goodies to you. I cannot mail outside the US. You also need to use the current host code, which is right below in this video. I also will leave it in the link of the video. And that's it. And then if you do all of that, then you will get a kit in the mail from me, which will have the projects for these 3 cards and 3 envelopes. And if you make a qualifying purchase of the card club for 6 months in a row, then you will get a free stamp set valued at $25 from me. I will let you know once you qualify, and then you will can send me an email or message me as to which stamp set you would like. And that's it. That's my card club. It's very simple, very easy to be part of. Once you get your card club in the mail, it'll come in a nice little package like so, and it will include a PDF file with all the items that were used and the dimensions of the different items, and also a link to the video will be on the PDF so that you can follow along in the video and make the cards. So we're going to go ahead and get started on our card club. So like I said, there's your PDF. We'll set that aside, and then everything will be nicely wrapped. So the first card we're going to work on is the powder pink base card. So we're going to set the other cards aside, and you're going to get all your little pieces in little baggies like so. This one here, your cards are going to come pre-scored for you. So all you have to do is just fold that right in half. And I always like to take the bone folder and just kind of give it a nice little crease there. So the first thing we're going to do is stamp on this. And with this set, or with this card club, the only stamp set we're going to use is the Jar of Love stamp set and the thinlits that go along with this. So here's the stamp set, and I keep my thinlits right inside the corresponding stamp set. I've said this before, I get these little magnet pieces here from Home Depot or Lowe's. They are heat vent covers, and you get 3 of them for, I think it's $5, and I can cut them down and get 4 of these out of 1. So you essentially get 12 pieces, and I just store them right in my stamp set. It just makes life easier for me. So we're just going to take the circle out of this stamp set here, the little circle. We're going to use that as our background on the powdered pink card base. So we're just going to stamp this with fresh fig, and there's no pattern to how I do it. I just randomly stamp the circle on the card base. Okay guys, so that's all you do. You seen me take the stamp and go off the edge, and I hit it on the stamp or the ink pad, and then I kind of inked it off to the side, and then I inked it on here. It just gives it a little lighter effect, so you have different shades of the dots on there. So that's all you need to do for that. Then you're going to take your designer series paper. This is from the Bundle of Love package, and this here is cut at 2x5. I'm going to use the blue side here. You can use either side you want, but it'll go good with the pool party jar that I'm going to put down. So you just want to go ahead and take your snail adhesive, just give that a couple of strips, and then you're going to kind of put this up towards the top. Just leave a little bit showing, maybe about an inch away from the top or so, just like so. And then we're going to take, in your little kit, you'll have a big stitch shape framelit circle, and you'll have a little one, and you also will have your jar in here, and there's a little fish in here. So these were all cut out, pre-cut. You'll get everything you need pre-cut, but none of the images will be stamped on there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your stitch shape framelit, your larger one, and you're just going to put a couple of strips of snail adhesive on there, and you're going to kind of put this, I don't know, a little, maybe about an inch off of the bottom. So it's just like so. And then you're going to take, we're going to do our stamping next. So you're going to take your bottle, and this here was cut out of pool party paper, and we're going to stamp that with your medium size stamp in here, and we're going to use pool party to stamp that with. The jar's a little crooked, just make sure your jar's straight on your stamp. And then you're just going to line it up with your bottle or your jar, mason jar, and just kind of stamp it just like so. And then if you make a mistake, you can always turn it over, and I think I'm going to turn it over because I don't like how that top looks. So I'm just going to turn it over here and re-stamp it. So that's the nice thing, you have two different sides. That's much better. So your bottle, or I'm sorry, your jar should look something like that. And then we're going to go ahead and take, actually we're going to leave the pool party open. And we're going to take, in your stamp set here, you'll have some water that kind of half fills the jar here. You're going to take that stamp. This is what the stamp looks like. And we're going to just ink that up with pool party again. And you're going to just stamp the bottom, just like so. And that'll look like water in your jar. And then we're going to close up your pool party. Then you're going to take your little fish here, and we're going to use Pacific Point for your fish. Pacific Point. And then you just kind of line your fish up on your white cardstock here and stamp them down. And then in your stamp set, there is a sentiment that says Best Fishes. It's a real little small one. You're going to take that, we're going to stamp that out in basic black, and you're going to stamp that on your little round stitch shape framelit. This is the smallest one, so you use the largest circle and the smallest one from your stitch shape framelits. And then you just kind of stamp that right in the center. And then we're just going to assemble this. The jar, you're just going to use snail adhesive for. And then when you put your jar on, I kind of went off the circle a little, just like so. And then the Best Fishes and the fish, or the, yes, Best Fishes and the fish, we're going to use pop-up dots on those, just to kind of give it a little dimension. So I'm just going to use 2 pop-up dots for my circle. And then 1 for my little fish here. And that's it. That's the first card. Very simple, very cute little card. Now we're going to move on to our next card, which is the Whisper White card base. So you'll have Whisper White 2 pieces, and then you'll have your designer series paper and some little pieces in here that are the flower pieces. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just fold our card base in half. And then again, I just use the bone folder to give it a good crisp fold. And then we're just going to set that aside and set your designer series paper aside. Next thing we're going to do is take your piece of Whisper White, which this one here is measured 5 by 3.5, and we're going to take the medium size, or I'm sorry, the large size jar out of your stamp set, and we're going to stamp that right to the front of this. So again, it's your large jar. We're going to take basic black. You're going to use a lot of ink colors in this one. We're going to use basic black, Always Artichoke, Crumb Cake, Sweet Sugar Plum, Berry Burst, Wisteria Wonder, and Perfect Plum. And then you're also going to use Versamark. So there are quite a few inks in here, but it's a very pretty card. So you're going to take your basic black, and we're going to just go ahead and ink that up. And then you're going to kind of put this in the middle towards the bottom of this Whisper White. Just like so. And then what we're going to use next will be the Always Artichoke. And we're going to do the stems of the flowers inside the jar with that one. So just go ahead and clean off your stamp. There's a couple of stems in here. There's a small one and a longer one. I use the longer stem. And I did 6 stems here in this jar because you have 6 flower heads. So you're just going to ink this up. And I started off, I kind of angled one. And then I went over this way and kind of angled the other one so that it kind of gives it that cross there. Then I put one in the middle, and you can make them all even. You can make them a little higher. I don't know if I'd recommend doing them all even because the flowers might not look right. So I kind of did mine couple tall, couple shorter. So I did one in the center and then one off to the edge here and then one off to the edge here. So you should have, when we're all done, you should have 6 of, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 right now, so you need 6 stems. So then I just kind of threw one in. Maybe I'll throw one in down here. Just like so. And then the next step we're going to do is we're going to take our crumb cake and we're going to ink up the flower, I don't know what you call it, the background piece there for the flower. I don't know what it's called. It's this little piece here. We're going to take that and we're going to put that on the background with your crumb cake. So go ahead and get your crumb cake out. And then I just filled in between the flower stems. I think that's good. So I just kind of filled it in so it's not so plain black back there. You are also going to need, I forgot to tell you, you're going to need some Tempting Turquoise on this. And that's what we're going to use to color in the base of the, or around the jar here to give it that like watery look to it. So what you're going to need here is aqua painter, or you can use your blender pens if you have some. And we're just going to squeeze the ink pad so that it puts some ink down there on the bottom of your ink pad. And then you're just going to drop a little bit of water in there and kind of mix it up. And then you're just going to start putting that on your jar, just around the edge a little bit. And then I'll work on the other side here. Nothing fancy, just to give it a little bit of color and make it look like there's water in the jar. And then I did a little on the bottom here, kind of like pooling up on the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you just want to take your aqua painter and just kind of run it clean. And then the next step we're going to do is we're going to just set this aside for a minute, let that dry. We're going to take our flower pieces and we're going to go ahead and get those all stamped up. So they'll come in a little bag like this. And the bigger one is going to be your Wisteria Wonder and your Perfect Plum. So you're going to want to take your lighter color, your Wisteria Wonder, and we're going to ink that tulip right up. So you're going to have, this is a two-step stamp, so you're going to have the two pieces here. You're going to have this bigger base and then the smaller one. So we're going to start off with the bigger base. And we're going to ink that up. And we're just going to line that up on your stamp. So again, this is the Wisteria Wonder. Just like so. Then you're going to take the smaller portion there, and we're going to ink that up with Perfect Plum. And you're going to stamp that right on top of that flower. You'll see, you can kind of line it up just to give it that extra little shading to it. So it should look something like this, just like so. So that's going to be your middle flower. Then for the little flowers, you're going to take the these two stamps here, and we're going to stamp out your flowers with those stamps. So they are connected. You can either leave them connected or you can cut them apart, whichever you want to do. It is easier when you have your Big Shot and you have a piece of Whisper White and you just stamp these on here and then cut them out with the Big Shot. But I cannot provide you with the stamped images, so we're just going to do it this way. You're going to use your Sweet Sugar Plum and your Berry Burst. You're going to lay down the Sweet Sugar Plum first. So you're just going to take your flowers. You're just going to kind of line them up the best way you can here. You can kind of see on your stamp how they line up. Just like so. And you're going to do that again. And they don't have to be perfect. And then we're going to do that one more time with the smaller flower, because you'll have a smaller piece here. Just like so. And then you're going to take your Berry Burst and we're going to put that right on top of those flowers. So you're going to take these two here and they're going to go on top of the base flowers. So we're just going to take that stamp out again. Take your Berry Burst and this is going to go on top of these flowers. So you just kind of line them up as best you can. Like I said, they don't have to be perfect. just like so. And then your smaller one here. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to set these flowers all aside here. And then we're going to take the Hello stamp and we're going to take your Versamark ink and your copper emboss powder. So what I like to do is get a piece of scrap paper. So I just take a piece of printer paper and I fold it right in half. And I'll set that aside. And then I'll take my Versamark here. And we're going to stamp that right down here on the bottom. But the first thing you should do is take your emboss buddy and kind of rub it on the bottom so there's no static. Just going to take your Hello and kind of stamp it on the bottom of the jar. And then you're just going to take and lay this on top of your scrap paper and then just sprinkle your powder just like so. So then you're just going to get it like that. And then I always just flick it a little bit. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you get your powder picked right up before you start heat embossing it. So we're just going to go ahead and put this away. And then we're going to heat emboss your powder. So you just want to take your heating tool and stamp it up. They have two settings and you're going to go on setting number 2. So then you'll see it'll look like that. I just love embossing. It just adds so much to your cards. So once you have it all heated and embossed, we're going to go ahead and just finish assembling this card now. So you're going to go ahead and bring in your card base and your designer series paper, and you're just going to use some snail adhesive. There's two sides to this. This designer series paper here is called the Fresh Florals design, and it's very pretty. It's very bright. This is the pack of it, and it's just the two designs but in all the in colors. So you've got your Berry Burst, your Fresh Fig, your Powdered Pink, your Lemon Lime Twist, and then your Tranquil Tide. And a lot of people didn't realize that when you got this, which I think it's great. I love it. I think it adds texture to it. It's got a faded out wash look to it. So, again, I think it's just great. I love that look to it, but some people were disappointed in that. So just to be aware, if you do order this, it does come almost like a faded look to it, but it's very, very pretty. So I love it. I think it just adds a lot of color to your designs and your cards, and it's great for backgrounds. Of course, there's my Lemon Lime Twist, my favorite color. But as you can see right here, it's a little faded. And that's the way it's designed. So don't think you have wrong, your paper's all wrong if it looks like that. That's how it looks. And you can't really tell in the catalog that that's how it comes. But again, I like that. I think it adds great. I think it adds to the cards. So you're just going to take your piece of designer series Fresh Florals paper, and we're going to use this side. So we're just going to take your snail adhesive, put a couple of strips down, and then we're going to attach it to the front of your Whisper White card here. So we're just going to do that, and then your card's going to actually be this, open up this way here. So just make sure when you're putting this on that your card is opening up the right way. So you're going to take your jar here, and again, we're going to use some snail adhesive, We're just going to apply that to your piece of Whisper White. We're going to kind of center this around here so that it gives a nice border of that pink, just that pop of color. I just love that. And then we're just going to go ahead and assemble your flowers. I used pop-up dots on the flowers just to give it that dimension, so I just used one dot. So I started with my bigger flower, my tulip, and then the little flowers I'll just go ahead and put them on randomly on the last remaining stems. And again, like I said, I just use a pop-up dot on all of them. So it'll look something like that. I just love the way this card turned out. It's cute, simple, easy to make, but it looks so pretty. Okay guys, so now we're going to move on to our last card. This will be the card base is Elegant Eggplant. So you're just going to take your Elegant Eggplant and just going to fold it in half, and then we're just going to use your bone folder to kind of give it a nice crease. We're going to set that aside. You're going to get 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock. This one's going to go on the inside of your card so you have something to write on. So we're going to set that aside for now. This piece here, we're going to do some stamping on. So we're going to go ahead and start with that piece right now. This piece here is measured out at 4 by 3.5, and this piece here is measured out at 4 by 5.25. Width to be 3.5, and you're going to want your length to be 4. So we're going to go ahead and work on it here. So you're just going to take this sentiment, "You light up my life," and we're just going to stamp that on the bottom of this cardstock here. So just in the bottom corner. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp our leaves next. And the leaves we're stamping out in Pear Pizzazz. So you're going to take these leaves here, this branch type stamp, and we're going to put it on our block, and I put it right on the corner or edge, and then this part that's stuck, I just kind of wrap it here so it's out of my way, kind of sticks back there. And then you're going to take your Pear Pizzazz and you're just going to ink this up. And you're just going to start down here. You can stamp it off the page, however you want to. And then I kind of angle it here and just kind of just like so. Then we're just going to kind of set that aside. And then you're going to take in your little baggie here, you're going to take out your mason jar and your flowers. So you're going to take the mason jar and you have your little flowers here, but we're going to stamp our mason jar first. We're just going to stamp it in basic black. And this mason jar is the medium-sized jar. So you're just going to grab the medium-sized jar out of there. And then you're just going to kind of line it up and just stamp it out. Just like so. And we're going to leave our basic black out because we're going to stamp out the fireflies. We're just going to take the little firefly on here, included in the stamp set. And we're just going to, I did a couple in the jar here, so wherever you want to place them. Just like so. And then what I did was I took my little jar here and I kind of put it on my paper, and then I took a couple more fireflies coming out of the jar, just like so. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and stamp up our flowers. So in here is a little flower right here. That's the flower we're going to use. And you're going to have 7 of these little flower pieces that are all die cut out. So we're just going to go ahead and stamp these. And the color we're using to stamp these out is Calypso Coral is what we're going to use. So you just kind of line them up on your little flower here. So we're just going to take the mini Stampin' Up dimensionals, and we're going to put one on each of the flowers' backs, and we're just going to put them over on our tree. There's no method or anything. I just kind of put them wherever, just spread them out. And then with your jar, what I did was I took the Smoky Slate and the basic gray marker to color in just the top of the jar. And I took the Smoky Slate and I colored in just these pieces here of the jar. And the markers are great. I love using our markers, the Stampin' Up markers. There's 2 tips to our markers. There is the paintbrush style tip, and then the other side is the pen, so you can do journaling or fine writing on there. So our markers, the Stampin' Up markers, are great. They match all the inks, so I use them all the time. So once you have that colored, we're going to take our our fireflies, and we're going to light them up. So we're going to use Daffodil Delight, and again, just squeeze a little your ink pad so that a little bit goes on the bottom. And I'm going to use our blender pens to do this. So I'm just going to take one of the blender pens. I'm just going to wipe it off, make sure it's got a clean tip. And then I'm just going to pull a little bit of this Daffodil Delight in here in the blender pen, and then I'm just going to do a circular motion on the body of the firefly, just so it looks like they're glowing. Very simple process here. And I did that on all of my fireflies. And then make sure you wipe off your marker when you're done. And then you can reuse them on any colors you want. They're very, very awesome little tools to have. I really like the blender pens. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your jar, and we're just going to put a couple of pop-up dots. Or the dimensionals, I should call them. And these are the larger size dimensionals. We're just going to take a couple of these. And we're going to pop our jar up here. Just like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our Elegant Eggplant card base, and we're going to take, you have a piece of Lemon Lime Twist cardstock. This Lemon Lime Twist cardstock is cut at 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. So you also have this Daffodil Delight double stitched ribbon. One side has stitching on it, and the other side has like X's on it. So you're going to take this, you're going to take 2 pieces here, and you're just going to, what we're going to do is we're going to take some snail adhesive and just run a little bit along the edges here. And then you're going to take your one piece of ribbon here, and you can decide which way you want to go. You can do the X's or the dashes. I think this one I'll do the X's on. And then just fold that over and fold this side over. You can also take a piece of Scotch tape and tape the back, but that'll hold it just like so. And then you want to do the same thing on this side. I gotta put a little bit more snail adhesive there. So it's just like so. And then what I'll do is I'll take some fast fuse, because it's got ribbon on there, and I want to make sure that the ribbon stays anchored down. So I'll just take some fast fuse and just make sure we anchor it down with the fast fuse. I'm having trouble with this piece of ribbon here. So I'll just, like I said, I'll just take the fast fuse, just go over the ribbon, just like so. I just want to make sure I use the fast fuse, because this really anchors it down. It's a really good adhesive. And then you'll take this piece here and you kind of center it on your card front here. So you kind of center it so it looks something like that. Then you're going to take your piece of Whisper White that we had stamped on and we put our jar on, and we're just going to take some snail adhesive and just kind of center that in between the ribbon. So that's it. That's the card. And then the inside here, you just want to take your piece of Whisper White cardstock, just take a couple of pieces of snail adhesive and just glue that on the inside so you have a place to write. And that's it. That's the third card. So I hope you enjoyed the card club this month. I'll leave all the information in the video description, and I'll also leave the current host code of the month there. So thank you guys for watching.